Planet Earth is our shared home. It's a place full of wonders and mysteries, a place that has been the stage for life for billions of years. It provides us with everything we need to survive and thrive. From the vast oceans to the towering mountains, every corner of our planet is full of vital resources. From the air we breathe to the food we eat, we completely depend on Earth's resources. Without these resources, life as we know it wouldn't be possible. It's easy to forget this simple truth in the middle of our busy urban lives. The connection with nature has weakened in many of us. We are caught up in our own worlds. We treat the earth as if it were a commodity that can be bought, sold, and exploited for profit. This distorted mindset has led all of humanity into a permanent economic crisis and the unbridled exploitation of our natural resources. This leads us to a fundamental question. Should land, this essential element of our existence, be subject to private ownership? Is it fair for a few to control what should be shared by all? Or does the very idea contradict the fundamental right of all human beings to share the abundance of our planet? Who decided on such injustice? Or even worse, what right do we have to allow the future of our children and everyone yet to be born to remain in the hands of a few? Land is a vital and finite natural resource, and its equitable distribution is crucial for social justice. The concept of owning land is a relatively recent invention in human history. For most of our existence, we have lived in communities that shared the Earth's resources. For millennia, humans lived in harmony with nature. They respected the land and understood that their well-being was closely tied to that of their environment. They shared the land and its resources, making sure everyone had what they needed to live. This way of life encouraged cooperation and sustainability. Today, the idea that one person can fence off a piece of earth and exclude others feels normal. But is it right? Is it fair that a few have so much while millions have nothing? The earth doesn't belong to us. It's a gift we've received from nature, and we must take care of it. We belong to the earth. We are part of an interconnected ecosystem and depend on its health for our own survival. We have a moral obligation to protect it and to ensure that its resources are shared fairly among all people. Only then can we guarantee a sustainable future for generations to come. Private land ownership is a root cause of many of the world's most pressing problems. It fuels inequality, perpetuates poverty, and drives environmental degradation. When land is treated as a commodity, its value is determined by market forces. This means that those with the most money can buy the best land, and what do they do with it? Well, they don't use it. They make much more money just by holding on to it, keeping it empty for generations regardless of whether people are starving or homeless, leaving the poorest and most vulnerable with little or nothing. This system creates a vicious cycle of poverty and inequality. It traps people in a life of disadvantage simply because they were born without access to land. Because their right to land was taken away from them even before they were born. It's the greatest injustice humanity has ever suffered. This injustice is felt most intensely in developing countries. The statistics paint a bleak picture. The richest 1% of the world owns more than half of the world's wealth. This small elite owns more land than the entire bottom 90% of the population combined. Land ownership is concentrated in the hands of a few all over the world. This leaves billions struggling to survive. Without access to land, people are denied the opportunity to grow their own food, build their own homes, or create a better future for themselves and their families. The consequences are devastating. Poverty, hunger, and homelessness are rampant in many parts of the world, while a privileged few enjoy unimaginable wealth and luxury. The injustice of private land ownership is made worse by the fact that so much land is left unused or underused. Vast tracts of land are in the hands of corporations and wealthy individuals for speculative purposes, while millions desperately need land for housing, farming, and other essential needs. This is a moral outrage. In a world where so many suffer from poverty and lack of opportunity, it is unacceptable that so much land is left idle. Section 5. Housing for all, a basic human right. A home is more than just shelter. It's a place where families can grow, thrive, and feel safe. Everyone deserves a decent place to live. It's a crucial part of a stable and healthy society. But millions of people around the world are denied this basic human right. They live in terrible conditions, without access to basic things like clean water and sanitation. The housing crisis is a direct result of treating land like something you buy and sell. Land and housing have become luxury items, out of reach for many. In many cities, housing costs have skyrocketed, making home ownership a distant dream for everyday people. Families are forced to spend a huge chunk of their income on high rents. Meanwhile, developers focus on building fancy apartments and condos that stay empty, catering to rich investors instead of meeting the needs of local communities. The result? An unbalanced housing market, a growing homeless population, people with no safe place to sleep, families struggling to make ends meet, facing food insecurity and financial instability, and a widening gap between the haves and the have-nots. This inequality doesn't just hurt families, it weakens the social fabric of our communities. Section 6. The power of shared resources. Imagine a world where land is seen as a common good, a shared resource to be used for everyone's benefit. In this world, collaboration and community are the cornerstones. This isn't a utopian dream. It's an achievable vision if we work together and change our perspective on land ownership and use. It's a practical necessity if we want to create a more just and sustainable future. Sustainability isn't just a buzzword. It's a way of life we must embrace. By moving away from the paradigm of private land ownership, we can unlock a range of possibilities. These possibilities include creating green spaces, promoting biodiversity, and strengthening local communities. We can create more equitable societies where every person has the opportunity to thrive and contribute to the common good, ensuring everyone has access to affordable housing, removing the barriers that prevent many from having a decent home, and protecting our environment for future generations. Conservation and care for our planet are essential for long-term survival. It really is a global economic disaster, but how do we fix such a tragedy? There is a simple and effective solution to address this problem: implementing a tax on vacant lots and unused land. Currently, owners of vacant land aren't paying taxes, and that's precisely what allows them to keep their properties empty for generations. And there are millions of vacant lots. But if a tax of $200 a year were established for each vacant lot, it would encourage owners to develop their land, or at least put it on the market. This tax would not only generate revenue for city coffers, but it could also be used to finance and improve community infrastructure, or even to eliminate other harmful taxes that punish entrepreneurs. Furthermore, by taxing vacant lots, speculation would be discouraged, as owners would have to consider the cost of holding on to unused land. Implementing this simple measure could be a decisive step towards regulating the real estate market, promoting a more equitable and accessible development for everyone without the need to expropriate or confiscate private property. In conclusion, taxing vacant lots is a viable and effective strategy to eliminate real estate speculation and foster a fairer urban environment. Real estate speculation has been a determining factor in the rise of poverty in all nations. When housing prices are artificially inflated, people are forced to allocate a significant portion of their income to cover the cost of their home, which limits their ability to invest in other areas of their lives, such as education, health, and entrepreneurship. By eliminating real estate speculation, fairer and more equitable conditions can be created for everyone. This would allow people to have access to affordable housing, which in turn would give them the opportunity to open workshops, grow crops, and raise animals. The possibility of financing their own homes without the burden of exorbitant prices would foster self-sufficiency and local economic development. In addition, by reducing the pressure on the real estate market, a favorable environment would be generated for the creation of small businesses. Local workshops and businesses would not only contribute to the economy, but also strengthen the social fabric of communities, promoting collaboration and mutual support among neighbors. In conclusion, by addressing real estate speculation, we not only combat poverty, but also open up a range of opportunities for people to thrive, develop, and contribute to the well-being of their community. It is essential that policies be implemented that regulate the real estate market and promote access to decent housing for all. This is a new economic model that prioritizes social and environmental well-being over private profit, promoting a fair, inclusive and resilient economy, creating a more just and sustainable future. A future where we can all thrive together in harmony with our environment. Section 7. A vision for a fairer future. A future where land is no longer a tool for taking advantage of others, but the foundation of a more just and equal world. This means making sure everyone has access to land, no matter how much money they have or their social status. It means putting affordable housing, sustainable farming, and protecting our natural environment first. It means rethinking our relationship with the earth and recognizing that we are all part of a connected web of life. Section 8. Breaking down the barriers. The transition to a more just and equitable land system won't be easy. Powerful interests will resist change, but the alternative is unacceptable. We must challenge the status quo and demand a better future for everyone. This requires raising awareness, mobilizing communities, and advocating for policies that promote land justice. Section 9. Let's start the change today. The time to act is now. We can't afford to wait any longer. The future of our planet and the well-being of future generations depend on our willingness to challenge the outdated and unfair system of private land ownership. Let's start today by supporting organizations working to promote land justice. Let's educate ourselves and others about the importance of equal access to land. Let's demand that our leaders prioritize policies that create a more just and sustainable world for everyone. Together, we can create a future where everyone has a place to call home. Thank you for joining us in this reflection. It is our duty to remember and act so that history does not repeat itself with our children and all those yet to be born.
Briser les chaînes, le pouvoir de l'action collective. Changer un système injuste et esclavagiste ne se fait pas tout seul. Cela nécessite l'action conjointe de ceux qui refusent d'accepter l'état actuel des choses. Il est temps que le peuple se lève, fasse entendre sa voix et exige un véritable changement. La lutte contre la monopolisation des terres est une lutte pour la dignité, pour l'égalité et pour l'avenir. C'est une lutte qui nous concerne tous, quelle que soit notre position sociale ou économique. Ensemble, nous pouvons briser les chaînes de l'esclavage moderne et construire un monde meilleur pour nous et pour les générations futures. Un avenir radieux. Imaginons un monde sans esclavage moderne. Imaginons un monde où la terre, au lieu d'être un outil d'oppression, devient un moteur de progrès social. Un monde où chacun a accès à un logement décent, où la spéculation appartient au passé et où la richesse est répartie équitablement. Cet avenir n'est pas un rêve inaccessible, mais une réalité à portée de main, si nous avons le courage de nous battre pour elle. L'histoire nous l'a appris. Le changement social ne se produit que lorsque les peuples s'unissent et revendiquent leurs droits. Le temps de l'indifférence est révolu. Ouvrons les yeux sur la réalité. L'esclavage moderne n'est pas un problème lointain. C'est une réalité qui touche des millions de personnes à travers le monde, et nous ne pouvons plus l'ignorer. Il est temps de sortir de notre indifférence et de reconnaître l'urgence de la situation. L'avenir de notre société, la possibilité d'un monde plus juste, dépend de notre volonté d'agir. Ne soyons pas complices de cette injustice. Levez-vous, exprimez-vous et luttez pour un avenir où la terre est un droit, pas un privilège. La terre ne devrait pas être un symbole d'esclavage, mais un espace de liberté et de croissance. Il est temps de repenser notre relation à cette ressource vitale et de lutter pour un accès équitable pour tous. Ensemble, nous pouvons transformer la façon dont nous voyons et valorisons la terre.